whoever you are, wherever you are, hope you are blessed and doing safe. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings, family. Of course, I'm tuning in. You see me without the glasses off today, but if you're looking for some opportunities, particular advertisement opportunities, then look no further at the link at the bottom to my email address. You can hit me up for advertisement opportunities. We are supporting and promoting your businesses here on this channel. You can also, if you would like to donate and subscribe to our Patreon, a link is at the bottom as well. So you have multiple ways in which you can advertise with the platform by emailing me when we go on through our live stream. You also have access to premium content, those that want to see premium content that you will not find here on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter, as I am suspended probably by now. You guys can check out the Patreon at link at the bottom. But advertisement opportunities, definitely email me, gavin.grich1@gmail.com for rates. And for the Patreon, it is the same as the YouTube channel. It is channel gboot2786. All right, I'll holla. Peace. I'm attorney Gavin Richard. I grew up here in New Orleans, so I know how important family, friends, and community are to us. And helping others has been a lifelong passion of mine. If you've been injured in an accident, you may be out of work and faced with large medical bills. You'll need someone to fight the insurance companies so that you can get on with your life. Give me a call at 504-799-2288, and I'll be with you all the way. The law offices of Gavin M. Richard, going the distance so that justice may be served. Hi, I'm attorney Gavin M. Richard. Check out my latest book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. For approximately 2 years now, I have gone on a painstaking quest to investigate the rise and fall of an American icon, Bill Cosby. In the mid-1980s, there was not a star that was higher than Cosby. Advertisements with Coca-Cola, Jello, Kodak, along with the #1 television show for 5 straight years in a row on Thursday nights. It was must-see TV on NBC. Cosby resurrected the genre of the traditional family sitcom that was once thought dead by television critics. He did this as a Black American with an all-Black cast and showed mainstream network executives in white America that it was possible to be successful without showing the worst in people. He also demonstrated the power that television had, as it can make younger people dream to be the best that they can be. However, like many celebrity stars, unfortunately, they all come crashing down, sometimes by their own fault, others not so much. In this book, I attempted to highlight certain things. We go in depth into both of his trials in 2017 and 2018, respectively. What if I told you that these criminal trials were politically motivated by an overzealous district attorney? Will you also be shocked to learn that attacks on Mr. Cosby did not start in 2014, but also in the 90s, not long after his attempted quest to purchase a major network? From where did all of these allegations of sexual misconduct come from? Were the accusers telling the truth? In the 2 years of research, with some help from others interested in learning the truth and facts about this case, we discussed both the legal reasons why his prosecution and trial were illegal, unwarranted, and also the possible personal motives as to why this may have occurred. Most importantly, we warn about the dangers of prejudice and why trial by social media, or mainstream media rather, should never be the norm. All this and more in The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in America. Available on Amazon this fall in Kindle and paperback format. wherever you are, I hope you're blessed and doing safe. Good evening to all in the chat, all on that are watching on Facebook or Gavin Richard, my backup channel, and on Periscope at Gavin Rich 2786. I am the host with the most, Gavin Richard, and the place to be right now with me on Thursdays, as always, is Random Topic Thursdays here on Channel 2786. Tonight we discuss the following, ladies and gentlemen. Jackie Avant, wife of Clarence Avant, gunned down in Beverly Hills Home at the age of 81. Ahmaud Arbery's murderer is prepared to file an appeal. Also, we'll be discussing this topic. Norwegian Postal Service celebrates the decriminalization of homosexuality with the gay Santa. And if time permits, we have other topics that will begin as following, as well as Kevin Steele asks the United States Supreme Court to overturn the Bill Cosby ruling. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Gavin Richard, and joining me right now is our brother and author of The Man Crisis, Mr. Shawn James. Shawn, how are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you, Gavin?
I'm doing fine. Ladies and gentlemen, I need you all to go ahead and check out some of Shawn's books, including The Man Crisis, which is available on Amazon.com. Shawn also has Stop Simping in Cyberspace, I believe is his latest book, and he's working on The Woman Crisis, which is supposed to come out next year. Shawn, if you want, you can do a plug-in right now.
Well, the fall 2021 SJS Direct books are Stop Simping in Cyberspace and E-Steam Cancelification. And both of those books are available right now on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. And E-Steam Cancelification is now on the Smashwords platform and all of their affiliates, such as the iBookstore and Barnes & Noble. So you can pick up both Stop Simping in Cyberspace and E-Steam Cancelification on Amazon.com and other digital platforms like Smashwords, the iBookstore, and Google Play.
Most definitely, ladies and gentlemen. So as we begin, Shawn, of course, let's pay some dues. I will bring Shawn back into the chat. But guys, I want you all first and foremost to check out and go, as you've seen, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. That is going to be available on Amazon and Kindle in paperback format. And you can get that, go to the page for the latest news on this book and when it will be released at Commonwealth Cause. That's at Commonwealth Cause, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I need you to, if you could, to check out our Creole Seasoning Blend Company, Nawny'sCreoleBlends.com. Ladies and gentlemen, that is where you can get all your seasoning, and it functions as a rub as well. So it works just not on chicken, meat, or fish. It works on turkey as well, and salads included. So order some at the shop logo you see right there, and I will send some to you. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nawny's goes great with every dish. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, a couple of things. You know that I am a music man, so check out Video Soul, which is our single on Apple, Amazon, and Spotify. You can stream that directly. Song I composed. And also, ladies and gentlemen, of course, our theme song is Gotta Get On Up, because before we get on down, we got to get on up. So sit back, relax. It's going to be a great show, ladies and gentlemen. Y'all tune in. And I have to sign in again. Excuse me. All right. There we go.
Girl, come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll live. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the. Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's stop dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on earth, wind, and fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you breathe and you achieve. And so if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll feel the groove. Get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up, baby. Yeah, gotta get on up. Come on, baby, gotta get on up. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. What's up, everybody? And welcome to another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on Channel G Boo 2786. I hope you all are doing blessed and safe. We are about to bring in our guest of honor, as always, on a Thursday night, our brother Shawn James. Shawn, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Gavin?
I'm doing great, my friend. I'm doing good. Good to see you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. All that good stuff. Let us get started, Shawn, shall we? We begin with some breaking news, tragic news, unfortunately, with the passing, or I should say the murder of Miss Jackie Avant. Miss Avant was the wife of 50 plus years to Mr. Clarence Avant, aka the Black Godfather, who is a well-known music executive, and also he's run countless political fundraisers for the Democratic Party, helping countless people get elected. Even doing fundraisers for Jimmy Carter, former President Jimmy Carter, Barack Obama, presidents, I should say, and others. He was also a Motown executive as well, and he created Sussex Records. Just recently, Mr. Avant was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as an executive. So unfortunately, we begin with this tragic news, and although I don't like them, I will go to TMZ for the latest on this that was reported on yesterday.
Tragic story that we broke this morning, a story that is affecting one of the most powerful, influential, and beloved men in Hollywood, Clarence Avant, known as the Black Godfather of all things entertainment. His wife was shot and killed early this morning, early Wednesday morning, at their home in Truesdale, which is a very upscale neighborhood in Beverly Hills, during a home invasion. What we know is that sometime around 2:30, someone or someones, we don't know how many suspects were involved yet. We know of at least one person who broke into the Avant's home. And once they got into the home, that person fired on Jacqueline Avant. Now, when police were called, they were told someone had been shot. They didn't have any more details than that. Police showed up, and we are told by law enforcement that by the time they got there, Jacqueline Avant had already been rushed to a hospital where she was pronounced dead. At this point, what we know is that the shooter broke in through it looks like a sliding glass door at the Avant's home, and then once inside, did encounter Jacqueline and opened fire. Clarence Avant is okay. He was not harmed. We do know that they had security at the home, and security, they were fired upon as well, but did not return fire. Police are now on the scene. They're still there gathering evidence to try and figure out who is responsible for this. They don't have any suspects. No one's been arrested at this point. But this is really shaking up, obviously, the Avant family, but also so many people in Hollywood because of Clarence Avant's reach in entertainment. In fact, he was just a couple of months ago was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for his work in the music business. But he has really touched so many different parts of American culture, of Black culture, from sports to the civil rights movement, and obviously the music industry, regularly celebrated by people in the music industry, by giants in the music industry like Jay-Z, Diddy, L.A. Reid, Babyface, Quincy Jones, and people in Hollywood, Jamie Foxx, Tyler Perry. These are people who look up to Clarence Avant, and obviously there are people who will be, we imagine, rallying around him now after this tragedy where his wife was shot and killed. We do know, by the way, that the people who broke into this house, they did not make off with anything. Initially, we thought that this was a home invasion robbery. That doesn't seem to be the case because they didn't take anything. So they certainly broke into the home, and unfortunately, it cost Jacqueline Avant her life. She was 81 years old. So this is something that we're going to be following. We broke the story earlier this morning, like we said, but there are going to be a lot of developments here as we find out what happened, what led up to this. So stay tuned to TMZ.com. We will have all the updates on this tragic story.
No, don't stay in touch with TMZ. Now, let me show you also some latest developments that has happened, that there has been an arrest made. A parolee by the name of Ariel Maynard has been arrested in connection with the shooting. And the authorities have said that the type of weapon that was used what seemed to have been an AR-15 type rifle. Now, I'm reading that on the Los Angeles Times report here. They said that shortly after, they said multiple surveillance cameras showed Maynard's vehicle heading east out of Beverly Hills after the Avant shooting. Shortly after Avant was shot, officers from the Los Angeles Police Department's Hollywood Division arrived at the home in the 6,000 block of Graciosa Drive in Hollywood Hills. Graciosa Drive in Hollywood. Yeah, I said it right. They found a man in a backyard who had a gunshot wound to his foot. Police determined that he had accidentally shot himself during an alleged burglary attempt and was arrested and taken to a hospital. Now, let's read. So this I believe is the guy right here. And let's look at what they're saying here. They're only looking at him as a suspect, but again, there's lots of evidence to go through. So we're leaving open the possibility that there could be other people involved. This is coming from the Los Angeles Police Department. Stainbrook, I believe it's Detective Stainbrook, the police chief, Mark Stainbrook, has said this. Now, let's go to CBS Los Angeles.
Miss Jacqueline Avant, how police were able to find a suspect so quickly. Good afternoon, I'm Juan Fernandez.
And I'm Leslie Money. In today for Susie's, this is KCAL 9 News at 4. We're streaming on CBS in Los Angeles. We do begin with that breaking news. A suspect is in custody in the shocking murder of a music executive's wife.
Police say private and city security cameras help them identify him. Jacqueline Avant's shooting's death during an apparent break-in left neighbors in fear in the LA community. KCAL 9's Rick Montanez is live in Beverly Hills with details on the suspect and what led police to that quick arrest. Rick?
What and Leslie, as if the news of this arrest wasn't enough. This one comes with a twist. Investigators say they found their suspect at a second crime scene where he apparently shot himself accidentally in the foot. The murder of Jacqueline Avant, matriarch of a well-known family in the music and entertainment industry, shocked the community. Now, some relief, as police announced the arrest of the man suspected in her murder.
Yeah, that's good. We're happy that police
Beverly Hills police say Jacqueline Avant was shot and killed in her home in the exclusive Trousdale Estates neighborhood Wednesday morning around 2:30. An hour later, more than 6 miles away in the Hollywood Hills, LAPD responded to a burglary call where the suspect apparently shot himself in the foot. In this video, you see LAFD treating the man. Beverly Hills Police and LAPD now say 29-year-old Ariel Maynard is the suspect in both crimes.
I think it's too early in the investigation to get to the motive. It may have been or may have been targeted, and for what purpose, we don't know. We're still looking at that.
Chief Mark Steinberg also says detectives believe they now have the gun used in the murder in evidence. LAPD recovered it at the second evidence. LAPD recovered it at the second crime scene.
We ended up getting our rifle in custody at this burglary. An AR-15.
Avant was married to record label executive Clarence Avant, the so-called godfather of black music. He was home at the time along with a security guard. Neither of them was hurt. The police chief now trying to reassure his city.
To our Beverly Hills community, let me reassure you, this is one of the most protected and patrolled cities in the world.
Got that right. That's interesting.
There's now more private security at the Avant home. One neighbor who says she was the victim of a home invasion a few weeks ago also now feels a bit safer since someone is in custody.
Yeah, of course. We feel much better than yesterday.
And police believe Maynard acted alone. They say he has an extensive criminal background, but would not give details. Also, since he is still in the hospital, investigators have not yet been able to interview him. They say that will happen when he is cleared medically and then booked. Live in Beverly Hills, Rick Montanez, KCAL 9 News.
All right. Shawn, I'm going to let you go ahead and talk, but something about this, just to me, this whole matter seems off. But you go ahead.
Yeah, something about this matter really feels off to me as well. I mean, Beverly Hills is a very secure part of Los Angeles, and I don't really see a black male walking around in that area without some sort of security or LAPD asking some questions. And to say that this individual was walking around with an AR-15 style rifle, really, it's really suspect as I see it, because if you're going to do one of these types of burglaries, I doubt a burglar would be needing such a high-powered rifle to participate in a burglary. So the whole story here, really, things are not adding up here, and it just doesn't really make sense. I mean, a black male walking around Beverly Hills, one of the most secure parts of Los Angeles, that don't add up to me, because he would have stuck out like a sore thumb. And him walking around with a high-powered rifle to do burglaries, that doesn't really fit the modus operandi of a burglar. A burglar usually wants to get in and out without any sort of force or violence. They really are looking for getting those high-end items. So this is looking in some ways like it could possibly be a hit. So I'm just me speculating, because I'm looking at this story and the details just do not add up. And now that this is going on, this guy is looking like the fall guy for whatever was going on. And I don't know if we'll ever get the true story regarding this case as related to the tragic passing of this great elder.
Yeah, and what was interesting, too, they said this himself. Mr. Avant was home, and so was the security guard. The security guards were armed, but they didn't exchange fire with the man. You heard that part on TMZ?
Yeah.
That was, yeah. So that in and of itself is suspect to me. And look, I don't know all that went on with this, but what I do know is this: as you said earlier, Beverly Hills is one of the most heavily guarded, police-controlled cities in these United States, if not the most. And especially if a black man is walking around in the middle of the night with an AR-15 rifle, you're telling me, and this is at 2:30 in the morning, nobody saw anything, no one reported the police. How did he get into that community? First off, if it's gated home, and I don't know, I've seen pictures of it. How did he get in through the backyard? Did anybody see him? Were there others involved? Was anybody else in the car with him? It sounds like some Nipsey Hussle ish stuff going on. And
Yeah.
I've been to LA. I've never been to that area of Beverly Hills. I've never been to that area, but I know just from what we've heard and from what I have seen, that area is heavily guarded and protected. It's exquisite. So
And
they
you're
don't,
not going to be able to slip in there like that. Just it doesn't sound right to me.
yeah, it sounds suspicious, but uh, we're going to keep monitoring this. And rest in peace to Miss Jacqueline Avant, who's a philanthropist herself. And I feel sorry for Mr. Avant at 90 years old to lose the love of your life, your spouse, uh, for 50 plus years. You're talking about from 1967 to 2021. They were married for over 54 years. So my heart goes out to them. And no one has a bad thing really. If you know anything about Mr. Avant, everything I've heard about him, people have nothing but high praise for him. People respect him and love him. He was a producer on for several films. Actually, he actually produced the Save the Children movie that was filmed in Chicago that featured performances by Motown stars like Marvin Gaye, for instance, who did What's Going On. He was responsible for bringing Bill Withers in. He also worked with Sammy Davis Jr., The Temptations, a bunch of people. So Michael Jackson included. So may he rest in, I'm sorry, not him, excuse me. May she, Miss Jacqueline Avant, rest in power. And yeah, I really think that this is suspect to me, and we'll find out. Now, Shawn, I didn't know this, but here's some more other information. Did you know that Clarence Avant and Miss Jacqueline Avant's daughter, Nicole Avant, she was ambassador to Barbados, but she's married to the head of Netflix,
Wow.
Ted Sarandos, which is why that documentary that came on The Black Godfather was made by Netflix that you see here.
Yeah.
And he helped, you see all of the stars here that were a part of that, the cast that was in that film, from Babyface to Barack Obama, Hank Aaron, Jim Brown, Bill Withers. Yeah, Ted Sarandos is his son-in-law. And this is his daughter, Nicole. She was an ambassador to the Bahamas for 2 years. So let me ask you, since they call him the Black Godfather, what do you think of a black man that's able to achieve that much during those times?
Well, it just shows how he persevered in the face of adversity and overcame great odds. And he is to be respected for going out here and persevering out here and working to get to meet those kind of goals and going. And definitely, if he went out here and helped out other brothers and sisters, I mean, he paved the way for a lot of other brothers and sisters out here. So that's why they call him the Black Godfather, because he went out here and did the work, similar to men like Melvin Van Peebles and men like many others who went out here and trailblazed. So that's why he gets that respect.
Yes, and let me say this too, since we're talking about Bill Cosby, Clarence Avant, there's a tie with Bill Cosby as well. I was speaking with Andrew Wyatt, when he was on phone with us on the Judge Joe Brown show, he actually Bill Cosby gave money to Clarence Avant when he was having trouble with his record company. A lot of people may not know that. So Bill Cosby has always been involved in some way, shape, or form with a lot of these men who become stars themselves or are big in the industry. From what you even pointed out, Melvin Van Peebles helping him with Sweet Sweetback's Badass Song, to we also talk about the founding of the Black Stuntmen's Association, and also with Clarence Williams III. He gave him his big break with that letter of recommendation to Aaron Spelling. So just interesting. But yeah, all the people that Bill Cosby touched, including Mr. Avant. So I really feel sorry for the Avant family. God bless them, and God bless Miss Jackie Avant. Godspeed to her. Rest in power, Queen. So next, yes, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Yeah, so we got some people saying if you do bring a gun to a burglary, it's going to be something like a 9mm or a 32, not an AR-15. Typically speaking, yes, because you want to conceal the weapon. But there have been some circumstances, not necessarily in carjackings. I have seen some people pull out choppers. Now, those are things that, especially the small AKs, they can conceal those. AR-15 is hard to conceal because I have an AR-15, so it's not you saw Rittenhouse with it. So, speaking of Bill,
excuse me,
Sean, no problem. Speaking of Bill Cosby, Sean, let's go ahead. I do want to ask your opinion. I know you did a video on it, but while I got you on, prosecutors, Kevin Steele, are trying to get this case reopened and have the Supreme Court look at this. So I talked about this on my show on Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen. It's asking the United States Supreme Court to essentially overturn the Cosby ruling by the state Pennsylvania Supreme Court. And he's asking to review the decision, stating, quote, the United States Supreme Court does not typically interfere with the rulings of a state high court unless it conflicts with the decisions of other state high courts or our federal court of appeals. This is a pathetic last-ditch effort that will not prevail. The Montgomery County's DA's fixation with Mr. Cosby is troubling, to say the least. This is Andrew Wyatt's statement. The Montgomery County DA stated, the decision as it stands will have far-reaching negative consequences beyond Montgomery County and Pennsylvania. The U.S. Supreme Court can right what we believe is a grievous wrong. This is what the DA said. Now, Sean, I know you did a video, but I did want to get your thoughts on this crap, because this is sickening, to say the least. And it proves my point that Bill Cosby was railroaded. I think we are making, those of us who have come on here on this channel promoting this, we've been proving our point that this man was railroaded, and it's clear that this person has, I'm calling him person just for out of automatic purposes. To me, he's lower than a person. He's scum. And that's an offense to scum, but this is what this DA is. I'm beyond pissed with him. He needs to be disbarred immediately. Go ahead, Sean.
I'd have to say that there's something really wrong with your Kevin Steele. And this attempt to try to get this case before the Supreme Court, this is an act of desperation, or it's an act, as I see it, of clear, insanity, because only an insane person is going to try to get a conviction reinstated after a state Supreme Court has already said that said case has been overturned and has found evidence that there was errors as related to the trial. I mean, if a state court, the highest court in the state, has said that there are errors in the case, why would you even think about approaching the U.S. Supreme Court, which deals with interpretations of law at the highest degree? I mean, that just shows that there is something definitely wrong with your Kevin Steele. and that he clearly is not fit to hold the office of prosecutor because he is taking state taxpayer dollars and wasting them on a case that he just needs to sit down and accept the loss on. Kevin Steele, really, he's showing us that he has practically lost his mind and has gone completely insane with this obsession he has with Mr. Cosby, because only an obsessed person continues to persist after going after an individual after losing in the highest court in the state. Any professional jurist who loses a case usually just takes the L and moves on with their career. But only, as I see it, an obsessed person is going to continue pursuing matters in a case that has already been adjudicated and has already been dealt with. And we've already seen the judicial errors that took place that were done by Mr. Steele himself. And any court office, anybody who's in the court, any judge or anybody who is in the appeals process, they will tell you that, look, it was his misuse of that affidavit that led to Mr. Cosby getting railroaded. So he was the one who made the error in the first place. He cannot go out here and appeal to the U.S. Supreme Court because the U.S. Supreme Court, the clerks are going to look at that whole appeal that he's making and they're going to laugh at it and laugh at him. And they're going to laugh very hard because they're going to say, it was your affidavit that you misused that led to the judicial error that led to the acquittal, not the acquittal, the conviction being overturned as related to Mr. Cosby. It was your misconduct that led to this. And you cannot come in here and say, reinstate a conviction when you made the mistakes in the first place and you compromised your ethics to do so and are further compromising your ethics to try to get this conviction reinstated when you use unethical means to get said conviction. All Mr. Steele is doing, and I use that term loosely because he is a complete loser at this point. And yes, he is. And he's going out here, he's compromised his ethics, he's compromised his office, and he is right now showing me that he has serious mental illness that shows me that he is not fit for office. And if I were the governor, I would be asking to get this man's resignation because this man clearly is not fit for office. He is not really focused on going out here and representing the state's best interest. He is obsessed with one celebrity, and that fixation shows that he has no real grasp of reality because he continues to abuse his office. And this abuse of power really needs to be dealt with by removing this man from office because he is not competent to be a prosecutor. And he has shown with this appeal that he has practically lost his mind.
Yeah, he has. What do you think? I think at the end of the day, the Supreme Court, first and foremost, you have to have standing in order to go before the court. He filed this amicus brief, this writ, actually on the day that it was set to expire, the statute of limitations, or I should say the time period in which to file an appeal was set to expire, which is on the decision was rendered on June 30th or June 29th, and he filed this on November 29th, almost 5 months later. So the deadline was coming. So it's very clear. You remember he filed his criminal affidavit or complaint on Bill Cosby the day before the statute of limitations was set to expire. So I don't think it is by accident. This is stuff that is politically motivated. He is politically motivated to go and prosecute a man who is in his 80s, who's blind, who also is a former Navy veteran himself and an icon in the eyes of many, including in the Black community. I think that this is a disgrace. I don't think it's going to go anywhere. And really, there should be a recall election to have him removed from office at this point. But remember, he was made the head of the Bar Association. I believe he was given an award out there in Montgomery County after all of this. And I've heard that that county, from some sources, that area where Bill Cosby was tried, that was KKK territory, supposedly. It doesn't surprise me if it is, but the fact that he's being awarded with this, being awarded, and he did this egregious thing to a citizen. See, it's one thing when you campaign and if you campaign on going after rapists, criminals, thugs, and hooligans and murderers, but you purposely targeted one private citizen. And that's the main issue I have with his candidacy and his position as district attorney.
Yeah, there is definitely, as I see it, something wrong with your Kevin Steele. And this man, again, he is just not fit for office. And the reason why he filed that case again was because he knew that he was wanted to go at the last minute. This is the same trick he used with Bill Cosby's sexual assault. He knew that the statute of limitations was running out, so he decided to file that charge in an effort to try to get fame at the expense of Bill Cosby and destroy his reputation. And now he's at it again, showing us how unethical he is, going out at the last minute of this, at the last day that he could file an appeal. And again, he's doing this with malice of forethought, because what he wants to do is try to make his name on Bill Cosby. But every one of his actions shows us how pathetic and desperate he is, how he has very little ethics as an attorney. And this is a man who I believe definitely should be disbarred, because his actions and his conduct are extremely egregious, and his fixation with Mr. Cosby, it just borders on psychotic at this point.
Right.
Because any decent attorney, once they see that they have lost the case, they take the L and they move on. But this guy can't move on because he's obsessed with Mr. Cosby. He's obsessed with destroying his legacy. And this attempt just shows us how insane he is, because the U.S. Supreme Court has more weightier matters to interpret law on than dealing with a case that has already been dealt with in a highest court of the state. They don't have time to waste time trying to talk about reinstating charges in a case where the prosecutor clearly misused an affidavit, and it's shown that the prosecutor was the one at fault. I mean, here you are with a case where you are at fault, and you want to say that somebody else is accountable. That's what I talk about in Man Crisis as classic beta male behavior. And what your beta male doesn't want to do is take accountability for their actions. And that's what's happening right here. Your Kevin Steele doesn't want to take accountability for his actions and say, this is my fault. I was the one who went out here and used an affidavit I was not supposed to use against Mr. Cosby. And this is what led to the judicial error that led to me and this trumped up conviction that I tried to force through the system getting overturned. No, nobody's at fault but Kevin Steele at this point, but he is in denial about this. So that's why I say he has no real grasp of reality at this point. And again, not fit for office because he's mentally incompetent. And the people of the state of Pennsylvania really, and the Commonwealth of that county, really need to get this guy out of office because he's not fit for his office.
Yeah, right. And let me just say this too. There is something in tort law. I know we have it here. I'm sure it exists. It exists in around the country called malicious prosecution. You can sue if a prosecutor, falsely or wrongfully with malice and intent is prosecuting a case against someone other than anything based on probable cause. So at this point, this is a desperate attempt. He campaigned on this, and they had to have known. He knew about this email that was sent by Bruce Castor. He had to have known Castor said there was an agreement because he was the ADA in that office. I don't think
he definitely had to know.
Yeah. So we will keep monitoring that story, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button if you can, please. Hit that notification bell so that you get notified whenever we go live. So the next thing we got to talk about is this Ahmaud Arbery situation. Now, you all know that on Wednesday before Thanksgiving, on the 25th, I believe, that a jury found all three individuals, William Roddy Bryant, Travis McMichael and Greg McMichael guilty of murder and false imprisonment on Ahmaud Arbery, who was the victim. Ahmaud Arbery was not on trial, and I don't say the Ahmaud. I say the Ahmaud Arbery trial. That's a mistake and a misnomer. He was not on trial. These men were. Well, what a lot of people don't know is that the murderers are planning to file an appeal. The attorneys for Travis McMichael, Bob Rubin, and Jason Sheffield are already planning to file an appeal in one of the most hotly debated trials this year. Now, this is you see here, that list, that is what these men were all convicted of. Travis McMichael, obviously guilty on all counts. His father, Gregory, only guilty of all counts but the malice murder, which malice murder grants life imprisonment. William Roddy Bryant was not convicted on the first and second count of malice and felony murder, and also on aggravated assault, but on other charges. And at any rate, these men, at a minimum, aside from Travis, who could face life in prison, will likely face life in prison, Gregory and William at least have to serve 30 years before they're eligible for parole. Well, the lawyers for these men, for Travis, got on CNN and said, "I can tell you honestly, these men are sorry for what happened to Ahmaud Arbery," Sheffield said. "They are sorry that he is dead. They are sorry for the tragedy that happened because of the choices that they made to go out there and to try and stop them." An attorney for Bryant, Kevin Goff, added that, "We believe the appellate courts will reverse this conviction." Now, of course, Goff faced a lot of criticism because of his remarks, stating that we didn't want any black pastors in the courtroom. And Judge Timothy Walmsley reprimanded him and denied the motion, saying he was not going to single out any particular individual as not being allowed into this courtroom, referring to Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton. Now, let's go ahead. I want to show you all something, though, some other interesting news in regards to that, Shawn, is that there was a GoFundMe page that was started on behalf of William Roddy Bryant. And it says here that a spokesperson for GoFundMe said Thursday that the crowdfunding platform had removed 3 fundraisers for Brian this week before any funds were raised. Now look at this. It says the campaign was started by Brian's fiance, Amy Elrod, and had a goal of $300,000. Elrod did not immediately respond to a request for an interview, but we know Brian was the one who recorded the encounter, but also he even, his own admission, said he made moves to trap Ahmaud Arbery in. And in fact, he hit Ahmaud Arbery with his car. Now, the GoFundMe spokesperson stated that they prohibit raising money for the legal defense of a violent crime. Brian's attorney, Kevin Goff, said Thursday, "The right to counsel, a guarantee enshrined in our Constitution, means little if ordinary people like Roddy Bryant cannot raise funds for their defense. And that includes the right to raise funds for appeal." He said, "The cancellation of legitimate online efforts to raise funds for Bryant is simply the latest manifestation of a woke left mob mentality that relentlessly seeks to undermine the institutions of our government." Shawn, what do you have to say to Kevin Goff and Amy Elrod for raising this fundraiser, and your thoughts on the appeal?
I'd have to say it's very audacious to go out here and raise funds on GoFundMe for that defense. And it just shows a lot of gall on their part. I mean, anybody who knows GoFundMe's policies already knows this type of fundraising is already a violation of their community guidelines. And this type of fundraising is usually taken down. I've seen this happen on many occasions to different types of people, like in the case of Kyle Rittenhouse, it was taken down. So this is a lot of gall on their part to try to raise funds. But this is par for the course with your white supremacists. They always try to think that they are above the rules and above the law, just like all three of those men thought they were above the law when they racially profiled Ahmaud Arbery and murdered him. Now, what's even more galling here is the fact that all of these men are going out here and having an appeal. And again, that's their constitutional right to do so, file an appeal as citizens of this country. But they are not doing this with any sort of discretion. It's just like Amber Geiger. It's just about the just pure arrogance of the situation, having no regard for the person that they clearly or shown on video terrorizing with their racial profiling and their violence. These people just going to go out here and say, oh, we're just going to appeal like this, showing they had no regard for human life. And what's the big middle finger is they're going to sit there and apologize when we know that that apology is completely disingenuous. Because if you truly cared about Ahmaud Arbery, you would have never racially profiled this man and went out here and went on a plan to murder this man. Because the only reason why they wanted to murder this man was because they saw a black man in a place they didn't want him to be, and they wanted to send a message to the world that no black men are allowed to come into our neighborhood, our fiefdom, and we are going to make sure that people see this dead body and understand no black people allowed. So these racists, they are just so arrogant and so filled with hubris that it just upsets me to the point where it's just disturbing to think about. I mean, they have no regard for human life. And the great irony is that these men were convicted of murder one, which is about malice of forethought. And this right here,
convicted of, I got to correct you, only one was convicted of murder.
Yeah, well, one of them, but they all show malice of forethought with this appeal. And again, it just the timing and everything, it just shows a complete lack of character. It shows no remorse and no regard for human life. These men, clearly, again, they show us how much of a monster they are, because you're not even going to regard this man's life at all, or even take a minute to reflect on your actions that you are clearly shown on video participating in, and one of you practically admitted to in the cross-examination. It's just again galling, and again just shows you the arrogance of these types of white racists. They have no regard for anybody else. It's all about them, and it just shows you that these men, like your Kevin Steele, just sick and sociopathic, and there is a place for them, and that's the prison system.
Yeah. I don't think the appeal will go anywhere because the judge, I mean, in order to appeal something, you have to have grounds for an appeal and show that there was reversible error.
Yeah.
The judge practically allowed them to come in and allowed them to make their motions. He listened to their motions for mistrial that they made. And I mean, I believe a lot of that was frivolous anyway, especially on the standpoint of Mr. Goff, where he tried to keep black pastors from out of the courtroom. This judge was a complete professional, in my opinion, other than the one in Wisconsin.
Yeah, he was following the law, and he was following the rule of law, because there's rules that you have to follow, and the way these guys they're conducting themselves clearly shows that they know nothing about being professional as related to the law. And this appeal, again, has no grounds because there were no judicial errors. You have to have a judicial error to show that you have a reason for appeal, and there's no real reason here for appeal because that cross-examination of one of the defendants practically he incriminated himself right on the stand.
Well, yeah, that's the one who pulled the trigger. He incriminated himself. And I think they were just that arrogant, knowing that they were going to basically admit to doing what he did. He thought they were going to walk, that they had it set. But, kudos to that jury. They looked at the evidence, they looked at the law, and they applied it as it should be. You had no business following this man from the beginning. You had no, even if you were following him, you got out of your car with a shotgun, brandishing it, and threatened this man's life when he didn't do anything to you. So kudos to them. So hit that like, share, and subscribe button, ladies and gentlemen. Also, I need you to donate to the Cash App if you like this channel right now. The Cash App is Gavin Richard Esquire. Google Pay and PayPal. We do this every Thursday, Tuesday, and Sunday. Of course, Shawn comes only on Thursdays, but every Thursday we do this with Brother Shawn James. And I want you to also hit up his support him by buying his books, including Stop Simping in Cyberspace. Shawn, the other thing I wanted to talk with you about, and I wanted to know what your thoughts on this right quick. The issue with Musty Jussie. I just learned that his trial is going on as we speak. I actually have some information from what happened earlier today. One of the brothers testified in court against your Musty Jussie. So, Shawn, I'm going to take it to you. I'm going to play the video first. Musty Jussie. I'm going to play the video first. And we'll deal with Juicy Smouye in a second. I want to hear what your thoughts are on this, okay?
Well, Judy, Ebola Oshadero took the stand about 2 o'clock this afternoon. He has been on the witness stand ever since, being questioned by prosecutors, giving them detail by detail of exactly what Jussie Smollett asked the brothers to do. Now, this Ebola Oshadero is definitely a key witness on whether he is believed or not, could definitely make or break the case against Smollett. As the star witness, Ebola Oshadero is testifying against Jussie Smollett, yet at one time he and the actor were very good friends. So good, Oshadero told
jurors, wait a minute, hold on, I gotta pause that. Look at this. They got, whoever the artist is, he drew this Negro like Frankenstein. Blackenstein. Look at that. Y'all see this shit?
Yeah, I see it.
He's gonna throw a kid in the water. Poo-poo on the artist. Ebola Oshadero.
Brother. The two met on the set of the TV show Empire, where Smollett had a leading role and Oshadero was an extra and a stand-in. In January 2019, Oshadero said he received a text from Smollett to meet him at the Cinespace studio for a meeting. They went for a drive. Smollett was upset the studio wasn't taking hate mail Smollett received seriously. Oshadero testified, quote, "He proceeded to tell me that he wanted me to beat him up. I was confused. I was just puzzled. And then he explained that he wanted me to fake beat him up." Oshadero says he agreed to the plan because he felt indebted to Smollett for getting him a stand-in role on Empire. The plan proceeded with the help of Oshadero's older brother, Ola. During a dry run of the fake attack, Oshadero told jurors Smollett picked the exact Streeterville location where he wanted the attack to occur. Oshadero says his good friend pointed to a surveillance camera and said he wanted to use the footage of the attack for the media. Earlier today, a Chicago police detective testified Smollett was upset when he found out the attack was never caught on tape. Oshadero also told jurors that it was Smollett's idea to have one of the brothers yell out racial and homophobic slurs during the alleged attack. Now, Oshadero is still on the stand at this hour and eventually expect a very tough cross-examination from the defense as they will go after his character.
Jussie's brother, JoJo Smollett, has been by his younger sibling's side since this incident occurred, and he actually spoke outside the courthouse yesterday. Listen to this.
It has been incredibly painful as his family to watch someone you love be accused of something they did not do.
And JoJo Smollett is now with us. Good morning to you, JoJo.
Good morning.
You've been in court with your brother this week, and obviously this has been a long time coming, years now, since all of this came to light, and there's still so many questions. But first of all, how is your brother doing mentally, emotionally?
You know, he's exhibited the kind of strength that is heroic. to be honest. I've never seen someone to be able to contend with what he's contended with for the last 3 years, waiting, expecting, being accused of something that you didn't do and that you were actually originally a victim of. You know, it's been a very difficult time for him. And as his family members, you know, it's been very difficult to see this whole ordeal. I mean, he was a dedicated craftsman, dedicated to his craft. He's been working at the art and entertainment since 6 years old. And to see everything, you know, kind of taken away from him the way it's occurred, you know, it's painful. As I mentioned yesterday, it's very painful to see a family member go through something like that. We're a very close family. You know, we lead with love. We have love for all human beings and malice toward none. All human beings are God's children to us. And
I come to you not only as the superintendent of the Chicago Police Department, but also as a Black man who spent his entire life living in the city of Chicago. I know the racial divide that exists here. I know how hard it's been for our city and our nation to come together. And I also know the disparities, and I know the history. This announcement today recognizes that Empire actor Jussie Smollett took advantage of the pain and anger of racism to promote his career. I'm left hanging my head and asking why. Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations? How could someone look at the hatred and suffering associated with that symbol and see an opportunity to manipulate that symbol to further his own public profile? How can an individual who's been embraced by the city of Chicago turn around and slap everyone in this city in the face by making these false claims? Bogus police reports cause real harm. They do harm to every legitimate victim who's in need of support by police and investigators, as well as the citizens of this city. Chicago hosts one of the largest pride parades in the world, and we're proud of that as a police department and also as a city.
All right. Y'all have seen this. I won't keep it up too long. Shawn, are you proud of that?
No, not at all. Musty Jussie, he really.
Of what the chief had to say.
No, I'm not proud of that either. But the whole thing is that Musty Dusty Jussie, he messed up Black people badly with his little marketing stunt. I mean, when he went out here and pulled his little marketing stunt, because a lot of entertainers like to pull these little type of stunts, it made life harder for other Black Americans out here. Here we have a guy who, if he wanted to have an issue with Lee Daniels, he needed to go settle that by taking a meeting with the executive producer of that show and saying, hey, my character is not getting the exposure I believe that they should be getting on the show, and I would like to get some further compensation. This is a business deal that he's supposed to do during office hours with his agent and his manager, and he hoped to try to use this marketing stunt to try to show that he had more value than he actually had, because your Juicy Jussie, Musty Dusty Jussie, he was just so full of himself, thinking he was a bigger star than he actually was. I mean, and to go out here and participate in this kind of incident, he put a whole lot of people in the Black community at risk, because this type of incident was going to, if it polarized people in this tense, in the way America has been, it would have really set off some real tensions, because here he was saying that, oh, there was these MAGA people, and we know Chicago is not a MAGA place at all. It's mostly run by leftists, and he's going to sit there and try to polarize people, and knowing that you're just going to sit there and put people at risk like that, that's really egregious as I see it, just so you can get some extra money. and that's just reprehensible behavior on his part. And to go to those lengths, it just shows that your musty dusty Jussie has no character whatsoever, and he deserves some sort of punishment. Now, I don't know how much punishment he deserves, but he definitely was completely out of line, because you don't go out here and orchestrate a stunt like this just so you can get some more money on your paycheck and some more screen time. No, those are things that you sit down with your agent and you have a discussion with the executive producers of the show in private. You don't go out here and pull a stunt like this trying to get your name out there, because this type of stunt it's just extremely, again, egregious to do. Because when you have people who will go out of their way to polarize people racially and polarize people based on the alphabet community, that shows that this man has absolutely no character whatsoever. And again, he just has absolutely no ethics to go this far. And there was no need, again, to go this far at all, because this was a business matter, and a business matter is handled in a business-like way. And this was unprofessional.
What do you think of the response then by his brother JoJo, who was defending him, saying he was innocent?
He is not innocent at all. The evidence already points to him based on what is presented there. I mean, he's not innocent at all. He orchestrated this stunt. And I've seen many people, celebrities, try to orchestrate stunts, but they will go only as far as maybe posing nude in a magazine or going out here and running around naked or some other crazy stunt. But this guy wanted to orchestrate a race incident. And if you have witnesses saying that this man orchestrated this stunt, then he probably did orchestrate it, because he had to be in on it to a point. And it just, to me, is why would you go out here and orchestrate this kind of thing? I mean, he's not innocent at all, because he clearly was unethical to participate in this kind of action. And it just shows to me that your Juicy Jussie, I mean, he's one of the most reprehensible human beings to ever walk the face of the earth.
Yeah. Actually, that was my brother Phantom Beat said Dame Dash waited for Lee Daniels at that Patti LaBelle concert. That was actually a Diana Ross concert. He came at him while she was in the middle of Reach Out and Touch.
Came for his money.
Yeah. While Lee Daniels got on a mink coat and stuff. You saw that crap?
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of moist, yeah, but it doesn't surprise me. What's up, some chick named Star? It doesn't surprise me that JoJo and the rest of the Smollett family are defending him. That's their family member. But, you know, and I'm a lawyer. Of course, I believe in due process and presumption of innocence. But the whole story never added up for me from the beginning. And for a lot of, like Dave Chappelle pointed out, we knew this nigga was lying. Like, we knew it didn't seem right. Nothing was adding up. This is late at night in the middle of a freeze in Chicago. There are cameras everywhere, and you weren't on camera doing it. And they got the brothers buying the supplies. And when the police came up there, he's still wearing his noose, the noose on his neck, which I thought was odd.
Yeah, you think you would have took that off?
Yeah, and it didn't even look like a noose. It looked like a damn it looked like curtain strings for blinds. I saw the whole thing just didn't add, and apparently he was mad. And something like this, guys, this wouldn't even go to court. This is a disorderly conduct. He would have just paid a fine. He would have done community service, things like that. They did this to make an example out of him, no doubt. But that was because he brought all the eyes of attention on him after this, calling himself the gay Tupac. And he came out looking like the gay Milli Vanilli. You know he's related to Kamala Harris, huh?
Well, incompetence runs in the family.
They're related by marriage, I believe. And, you know, while all of this was going on, she was trying to get that hate crime bill passed with Emmett Till's name on it. But the thing is that hate crime bill is leveled with and contains much LGBTQ stuff.
Yeah, Derek, he was still wearing his noose. And speaking of LGBTQ, alphabet, ladies and gentlemen, I got to point this out. Now, talk about the lyric, make the Yuletide gay. They took it to a whole new meaning in this commercial, ladies and gentlemen. Now, those that may not know this, and I'll give you a few seconds. If you don't want to watch it, turn your head. Shawn, I'm sure, is going to be upset. But this commercial of Santa Claus getting a boyfriend. Now, a Norwegian Christmas ad for Norway's postal service, Poster Norge, depicts a gay Santa Claus struggling to balance his Christmas Day duties and a male love interest that has sparked an online debate with critics saying it, quote, sexualizes the holiday figure. The ad is titled When Harry Met Santa, and shows a burgeoning romance between Santa and Harry that starts when the two meet one Christmas Eve. As he leaves the house through the chimney that night, fireworks fill the night sky. Now, I don't know if I want to play the video for y'all to look at just so you can see, but the picture says enough. And some of the critics some people have criticized it. A lot of people, of course, this is on a gay website, by the way, that are praising it. Now, some people said if Santa is gay these days, then good for him, but we should be seeing him getting off should we be seeing him getting off with anyone in Christmas adverts? Seems a bit of an odd concept to me. If he was snogging a woman, it still sexualizes a figure that's mainly around for children, which looks creepy to me. That was Melanie Blake. I don't know who exactly Miss Blake is, apparently. But do I need to play the ad? Y'all want to see the ad?
No thanks.
You say no, Shawn. I'm gonna play it because there are people who probably haven't seen it, but I won't play all of it.
Hello.
I'm not gonna play all of it. And this is the postal service. This is a postal service. All right, I'm not gonna play all of it, but turn away. Now, all right. I'm not gonna play all of it either. But you got Santa Claus checking the guy out while he's sleeping on the couch. And I think this is a married man too. This is a father. That's his daughter. Or his niece, rather. I'm sorry. Now, they did this because 50 years ago, Norway decriminalized homosexuality. And that was in what, 1971. Yeah, you'll see the Easter Bunny jerking off to some porn or something like that when spring comes around. Now, the Tooth Fairy fellation the Sandman. That's what's going to happen next.
Those are many ideas.
Trust me, it's already in the works, Shawn. Let me say this. I know there's some people who don't celebrate Christmas here. Those in the comment section, I probably don't recognize it. I do celebrate Christmas. It's always been a part of my family, and the big man in a jolly red suit was a part of my childhood too. I grew up, loving Santa Claus and Rudolph and all of those characters and stuff. And that's because Christmas is made for children. And what they're doing with this, if they wanted to celebrate anything, they could have done anything. They used a central figure that is looked up to by kids, who is a representation of the Christmas spirit, of giving, of sharing, of love. That's what Santa Claus means to me. Now, he's also based off of a saint, Saint Nicholas, who actually gave monies to the poor, the less fortunate. They could have used that ad to show about that. What about these people who are homeless, that don't have a good Christmas? People who've lost their job. They could have done anything like that. They decide to celebrate homosexuality, of taking a figure and sexualizing him. A figure for children and sexualizing him. So apparently Mrs. Claus got a divorce in this one. But this was, I'm not going to play, because you've asked me to stop the commercial, I am not going to play it. I only was playing parts of it. I wasn't going to get it on the most central stuff, but I wanted to show you all what they were doing. And it's garnered over 1 million views. And you know what? That's the reason why I think YouTube took the dislikes away, because they knew a lot of people would dislike that. But go ahead, Shawn, and give your thoughts on this.
I was deeply disturbed when you showed me that picture. And it looks like, again, the alphabet community trying to piggyback on another icon and trying to sexualize him to talk about so-called representation. But this, as I see it, is completely out of line, because everyone knows that Santa Claus is part of Saint Nicholas, who was a saint, and that runs diametrically opposed to what a saint is as related to religion. That's one point. The other point is that Santa Claus is not a character that was ever homosexual. He has a wife, Mrs. Claus. That is part of the legend of Santa Claus. And the character has always been about families and children. It has always been focused on children primarily. Excuse me. And it's just, as I see it, not appropriate to go out here and put a sexualization on the character of Santa Claus. And what they're trying to do with the alphabet community is trying to indoctrinate children with this type of character. And that's just, again, completely, as I see it, out of line. I mean, if you want to go out here and make a character for Christmas that's original, that's an alphabet character, go out here and make an original character that represents the alphabet representation. Don't go out here and take a character who has been an iconic legend that has been a part of the Western history, because St. Nicholas started out, I think, as part of Russia and Germany, and to take this character and twist it that way, so it's just completely out of line. Again, if everybody else, like myself, I don't go out here and take other people's characters and make them whatever I want them to be. No, I go out here and create my own characters, and I create my own stories. Whenever I'm out here, I feel that I need to respect the other pieces of legends and folklore and mythology. And if I want to make my own characters, I need to make my own characters and represent that as my story, because that's how you go out here and do things. This type of ad, again, is very troubling to me, because it's you trying to go out here and try to appeal to children. And that's inappropriate for children to even talk about sex or sexuality. Santa Claus, as I see it, should be a character that should only be focused on things like family and children. And that's what he basically is, a family character. And as I see it, there's no need to talk about sex or sexuality when it comes down to characters related to families and children.
Right. And really, it's a way to sexualize children. That's why they're pushing it. You see Santa Claus, who is the figure of benevolence and giving. that appeals to children. So now they put him in this advertisement and making it normal. And Darius is pointing out, and they wonder why Norway's birth rates plummeted right after they legalized that. Let me say this too. When you hear words, especially in Christmas songs, like I said, it took the meaning of the lyric, have yourself a merry little Christmas, make the Yuletide gay. It took it to a whole new level. The word gay by its definition means happy. That's the original definition of it. And they did that started changing that around the 60s, because originally it was just called sodomy or homosexuality. They changed it because they wanted people to say to be gay is happy. But in truthfulness, and I know there may be some people who watch my channel who identify as LGBTQ or who are gay. Let me say that I know people who are gay as well, but I know some of them who don't live the happiest life. Actually, if you look at the stats, and no, it's not saying all are like that, but the stats show, you have high rates of HIV and STDs. The country that legalized gay marriage first, which was up in Europe, which is in the Netherlands, they have the highest divorce rates. They have higher divorce rates than heterosexual couples.
That's because a lot of alphabet people are very promiscuous.
Right. Yeah. Now, I could get in trouble for saying stuff like this, but I'm speaking facts. I'm quoting what I have read in medical fields, what I've read medical reports statistically, and this can be verified. So I'm not dissing anybody, but yeah, that word gay, just like the rainbow too. The rainbow was co-opted. The rainbow was God's covenant with Noah, with man, that he wouldn't destroy the world by flood again. That was taken. So yeah, it's about to go down, man. But Shawn, I know you got to run in a minute, but I got one more topic. It won't take long. I want to talk about Chris Cuomo being in trouble again. Now, those of you that know this, Chris Cuomo was actually suspended indefinitely from your CNN because he was caught being involved with his brother's investigation. And CNN's sees its rating spike. This is coming from the New York Post after Chris Cuomo was suspended. The total number of Cuomo primetime viewers spiked to 897,000 on Tuesday night when Anderson Cooper filled in for the missing host, according to Nielsen's TV ratings data posted online by Adweek's TV Newser website. That figure was nearly up 19% from Monday, according to the New York Post. So the records that have been released, especially have come out, include damning text messages with his brother's top aide and a sworn interview which he admitted that he called the news industry sources for information and also tried to dig up dirt on at least one of Andrew Cuomo's accusers, saying he heard she might have been put up to it. On Wednesday, Chris Cuomo told listeners of his SiriusXM radio show that being suspended from CNN hurts and was embarrassing, but added, I understand it. I understand why some people feel the way they do about what I did. So he admits to what he did. Sources have told the Post that CNN President Jeff Zucker was infuriated by Monday's revelations, which came after the network stood by Chris Cuomo in May when the Washington Post revealed that he participated in strategy sessions with his brother's aides and advisors. And at that time, CNN called his conduct inappropriate, but they did not discipline him. Shawn, what do you think this means for CNN and for Chris Cuomo?
I think it really, when it comes down to CNN, they're just garbage anyway. But for Chris Cuomo, this means it's the end for him because he violated the ultimate rule of journalism and that he got involved in a story. Now, a journalist is supposed to remain objective, and if they have a person that they are involved with, they are supposed to remove themselves from that story. And what your Chris Cuomo did violated the ethics of a journalist getting himself involved inside of his brother's sexual harassment scandal. And he was reporting on the same said story and also trying to use his sources to get information for his brother. And that is a complete violation of ethics for a journalist. The only action you can do for a journalist like this is to terminate them. And what they're trying to do is try to soft shoe it so that they won't say he's fired. What they want to do is say he's suspended indefinitely and then hope he gets the message and tenders his resignation. Because at this point, they are looking to try to get him to leave the job, but he's probably going to try to be stubborn like his brother was and trying to hold on to the governorship of New York. And that would be a mistake because now we know we cannot trust him as a journalist. He has been compromised as a journalist. So at this point, he's already tainted right now. So when I look at your Chris Cuomo, I don't see a guy who understands the game moves on the chessboard. He's still trying to hold on to a job that he already lost due to his unethical behavior. And he was unethical because he thought he was above the law. He thought he was better than everybody else. And he thought he could get away with going out here and compromising his ethics. Unfortunately, he wound up getting caught. And that's the reason why they're letting him go, basically, is because he got caught participating in these actions. Had he not gotten caught and people saw him compromising his ethics, he would probably be out here making some more fake stories or doing another Donald Trump bashing episode of whatever is out there that they do on CNN, or doing some Biden propaganda. That's probably what he would be doing had he not been caught. So CNN is a garbage news network. I mean, it's just absolute trash. And when you go ahead and compromise your ethics to the point where a trash network has to get rid of you, it shows that you have no business in the business of journalism.
And, you know, those guys, especially Chris Cuomo, he's a former lawyer and he's got his radio show, so he'll be fine if he gets fired from CNN. It's not like they're going to go broke
No.
over this. I mean, his father was the governor. Not only was his brother, but his father was the governor of New York, for goodness sakes.
But it just has no ethics whatsoever. And again, that's not what a journalist does. A journalist, if they see that there's a conflict of interest, they extricate themselves from the story and say, look, I can't report on the story because I'm too personally involved, because becoming personally involved is a conflict of interest and it biases you from being able to present facts and present them in an objective manner.
Yeah. And it's clear that CNN, whenever you listen to them, I've stopped listening to CNN a long time ago, that they have an agenda, which is basically to push the far left propaganda, the agenda of the far left.
Yeah.
And just like Fox News is for the far right, they're for the far left, as is MSNBC. They are not impartial in their reporting, which is what a news journalist is supposed to do. Everything is Donald Trump did this, Donald Trump did that, praise the Democrats, kill the Republicans. And same thing on Fox News, except they're much more outspoken with their stuff. You know, I don't like either of them. But a lot of people, I think, are getting frustrated with the left, especially with even your boy Van Jones even said that the Democrats come across as annoying. Duh.
They come across as condescending and arrogant.
Condescending, arrogant. Right. And we're seeing that now. We have this other variant that's out, the
Omicron.
That's Omicron that's out. And, you know, if they got to do shutdowns again, that's going to be even worse. I think you talked about a red summer or red summer coming with these elections that are going to take place. It's going to be a blowout.
It's going to be a complete bloodbath, and I saw the bloodbath coming.
The Red Army. The Red Army. Yeah, go ahead, Sean. Finish what you're saying.
It's going to be a complete bloodbath because they clearly, after saying that Donald Trump was so bad, we see that these leftists have no vision, no direction, and they have not. They talk a good game, but they cannot get anything implemented and they can't get anything finished.
Yeah.
They can't achieve any sort of goals because they never define any sort of goals because they don't want to be accountable. They just want to talk, but they don't put any walk behind anything. And that's why people are walking away from them because they're tired of hearing the lies, they're tired of hearing the excuses, and they're tired of seeing that things continue to get worse, but nobody wants to take accountability for all the mistakes they have made.
Most definitely. Shawn, this has been a great show. I know you have to run out of here, so we're going to wrap it up in a minute. So you guys can support Shawn by picking up any of his books at the link at the bottom. He has The Man Crisis. He has Stop Simping in Cyberspace, which is his latest book, and he's working on The Woman Crisis. Shawn, go ahead and plug your books in right now, man.
All right. Well, for the SJS Direct Fall 2021 catalog, I have Stop Simping in Cyberspace and eSteam Cancel Vacation, which are now available on Amazon in paperback and Kindle format. eSteam Cancel Vacation just came to Smashwords, and Stop Simping in Cyberspace is on Google Play. So you can get those books on Amazon right now in paperback and Kindle format and other online booksellers. And you can get all of the books on the SJS Direct catalog in paperback and Kindle format on Amazon.com. And right now I'm looking for my first ebook sale for the month of December. So I'm asking everybody to go out and pick up an ebook to get that first ebook sale for December and to pick up some paperbacks for the holiday season because they're great gifts for kids. A lot of the books in the ISIS and eSteam series, kids love them, and the John Haynes series, kids love them. And I think your kids will love them if you give them a try.
You guys go to my website, nonniescreoleblends.com. That's some Creole seasoning that my father and I made. Try it on chicken, meat, or fish. Nonnies goes great with every dish, and now including turkey, especially since it's the holiday season. So go ahead and do that, ladies and gentlemen. Also, go ahead and go on Facebook and look up at Commonwealth Cause. That is the Facebook page for my book, The Commonwealth of Pennsylvania versus William H. Cosby Jr., The Destruction of Due Process in the United States. Also, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and download and check out our book, music. We have several selections for you here. You see Video Soul. That is available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and other locations. Also available in the iTunes store is Gotta Get On Up. So you guys, this is our theme song. Gotta Get On Up. Now we've gotten on down. It's time to get on up. I need you also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking at my phone. Please donate to the Cash App to keep this channel alive. It's good if you guys can support us because this channel, this stream light is not going to be monetized. So it's good if you all can support us. But go ahead and get the song, Gotta Get On Up. Now we've gotten on down, ladies and gentlemen. It is time to get on up. Shawn, thank you again for joining me.
All right, thank you for having me.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of Gavin Richard Presents here on channel GBoo2786. By the way, Shawn, did you see my live stream Tuesday?
No, I wasn't. I was busy working on my own projects that day.
Oh, I didn't think so because we happened to have, I had you on the show, believe it or not, on Tuesday.
Oh.
Yes, I did because I was impersonating you.
Oh.
So, when I take a critical examination of today's topics, I find myself getting down on these bust downs who have even put Meghan Markle, make the Duchess of Ratchetness, Meghan Markle, to shame. I didn't know if you saw it. So
no, I didn't see it. I've been super busy. I mean, I have been super busy on books and comics. I mean, I've been just been super busy, and I've been trying to get stuff going, on these 2022, and I just finished a 2023 book for the John Haynes series. I mean, I'm trying to get stuff done, so I'm trying to work to that big break. That's what I've been doing.
Yes, you are taking a critical examination of your life and rejecting any beta male activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't just you, it was a bunch of other people, but By the way, I want to tell everybody this too. Yesterday, I had a special visitor. We had a special visitor come out from New Orleans, come down to New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen, from Macon, Georgia. And I'm going to upload a video very shortly. But our queen, Miss Taisha Essex, was in town. So I had a great time with her. She and her boyfriend, Rick, shout out to him, shout out to both of them, rather came down to enjoy some New Orleans cuisine and music and food. And we met up at the Comedy House NOLA. So shout out to Taisha Essex. It's good to see you as well. And she gave a shout out to you, Shawn. So
thank you.
Yeah. All right, Shawn. Well, I'll let you go, brother.
All right. Thank you for having me on the show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, tune in on Sunday. I will have my brother Jaleel Manson come on, aka brother, I can't even remember, R&B Forever, who's going to come on here, and we're going to be discussing our top favorite Christmas movies. So you don't want to miss that. That will be at 1 o'clock Central Time on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen. So I'll see you in the next one. I'll holla. Peace. Thank you, Shawn.
Thank you.
Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, and cups of coffee. Now I take a critical examination of Gavin Richard's impression. I find it very inquisitive of me. I thought he did a phenomenal job. But let's play the music right now. It's time to go.
Come on. Gotta dance to the beat, because on the dance floor is where we'll be. Show me what you got. Gotta feel the groove.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Right now the party's wasted. There's nothing much to do. But once the groove gets started, tell me, what do you have to lose? Just look into my eyes, girl, as we glide across the room. And what to my surprise now, the beat takes hold of you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really moving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Tell the DJ play the whispers. Rock steady in the mood. Put on Earth, Wind, and Fire. Tonight we're gonna groove. Show me how you do the four corners. Electric slide or two. Hit the bus stop or do the bunny hop, baby. It's really up to you. Now if you're feeling like I'm feeling, so come on baby, let's start dealing. Time to get this party started. Ain't no time for the broken hearted. When the rhythm takes hold of you, there's only one thing left to do. Cause the beat is really grooving. Time to get your body moving. Gotta get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something.
Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the.
Now 2020 hasn't been the best year of all times. We've been dealing with death, the pandemic, racism, bad policing, and all the bad rhymes. But like Uncle Snoop once said, if you're breathing, you're achieving. So if you're ready, I need you all to get on up. Are you ready? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Get your butt on the dance floor. 5 and 6 and 7, 8. This jam we appreciate. We're gonna slide and step on the beat. On the dance floor is where we'll be. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up and move your body. Cause when the beat is really grooving, it's time to feel your body moving. Gotta get on up and shake something. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on the floor, baby. Yeah, gotta get on the floor. Come on, baby, gotta get on the floor, baby. Feel the groove, get on the floor. Get on up. Okay, family, it is time to go now so I can get some Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, and cups of coffee because I am working on like my 90th book in the SJS directive. So you guys will excuse me right now. Merry Christmas to you.